Hello, everyone. My name is Ian Wise. I'm an accounting professor at Wagner College in New York City. And I've written a paper which is a review of the literature concerning the developments of accounting across the continent of Africa. Africa is, of course, a huge continent. And I don't believe we typically think about what's going on in Africa in the same context that we do what's going on in Europe and North America. So I think this is a timely opportunity to look at the developments across Africa. Accounting, of course, is an important method for evaluating economic development. All countries, if they want to attract inbound investment, need to show that those funds are either being used profitably or being used for a good purpose. And it's important to have a robust accounting setup in order to know that. IFRS has become the de facto international standard for accounting across the world, with the exception of the United States. Many African nations have already adopted IFRS. To what extent has this adoption been a success? And what steps are being taken to facilitate further integration? And what role do universities play in accounting education, research, and development? Peter Drucker said, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, which is the key reason accounting is so important. Across Africa, the Pan-African Federation of Accountants has 54 members, spreading across 43 countries and representing 110,000 professionals. Historically, chartered accountants were, and to a large extent still are, self-regulating. However, various crises and scandals have resulted in creation of another level of supervision. In the United States, that's the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, created in 2002. The proliferation of oversight entities resulted in 2006 in the creation of the International Forum of Independent Audit Regulators. Currently, there are 53 members from 53 jurisdictions. This is also developing in Africa, although currently only African countries that are members are Egypt, Botswana, Mauritius, and South Africa. However, in March of 2018, there was a major meeting in Zambia in which a large number of African countries committed to achieving a common base for accounting and auditing standards and to work towards attaining the IFIER standards. What's happening in the current situation? Well, currently, in the 17 West and Central African jurisdictions that are members of the Harmonization of Corporate Law in Africa began using IFRS standards in January 2019. The reasons for adopting IFRS in Western Africa is in order to get better international recognition, to enhance development of the private sector, and to achieve comparability of accounting information across jurisdictions and entities. This has proved difficult due to cultural differences between the African way of looking at things and the European way of looking at things, the fast pace of change requiring significant input in terms of education and training, and significant difference between the prior system and IFRS. Egypt and Morocco are members of the International Federation of Accountants, which requires members to adopt international standards. Egyptian accounting standards are based on the 2005 version of IFRS. Morocco has also committed to IFRS, but as of 2016, it was not legally binding except for banks. In Egypt, which has been characterized as a code law country, exhibiting lack of investor protection, legal inefficiencies, and weak enforcement. Reforms proposed include adoption of international accounting standards and improved quality of accounting and auditing. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of South Africa made the decision to base its accounting standards on IFRS in 1993. Kenya adopted IFRS in 1998, and currently IFRS is required in Botswana, Comoros, Eswatini, Ghana, Lesotho, Nigeria, Namibia, Mauritius, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. How have countries and companies adopted to IFRS? Using data from 205 companies across 13 African countries, Tiwa and Bolaki found that the average IFRS compliance score was 73.09, with a minimum of 62.86 and a maximum of 85.61. They also found a positive association between audit committee competence and compliance, a positive association between chartered accountants on the board and compliance, and compliance improving over time, but less compliance with the most recent standards. Problems with adopting IFRS in Africa is that IFRS were designed for developed and mature capital markets. Countries without stock markets have totally different financial reporting needs to be industrialized countries. Industrialized countries have converged to IFRS in their own terms, whilst edging less developed countries towards adopting them without any modification. Some scholars argue that the decision of an investor to invest in a particular country is actually independent of that country's financial accounting system. There's a great diversity in the socioeconomic settings on the continent, and if African countries should adopt IFRS, it's unclear how the benefits of IFRS can be measured. In order to implement IFRS, a robust infrastructure is required. Accounting qualification is generally based on the 3 E's: education, examination, and experience. As far as research is concerned, de Glaesch, Lemma, and Samkin have noted that in Anglophone sub-Sahara Africa, research output is low. This they attribute to factors specific to the institutions of higher education. They conclude that the factors driving academic accounting research, such as regulation, are weaker in Anglophone sub-Saharan Africa. Verhoeven and Samkim have noted the strong influence of the South African Institute and its predecessors in South African accounting syllabi. While the South African Institute supports accounting research, it is conditional on meeting their own particular view on scholarship. While it's important that professional bodies engage in making curriculum include real-world situations, this should not exclude other areas of research that contribute to the advancement of the subject. Diversity in South Africa. Another impediment to full implementation of IFRS is the discrimination some Black South Africans experienced even after the end of apartheid. Heyman, Clayton, and Arted report that the stories of discrimination experienced by Black chartered accountants contrast sharply with the official version of history as published in professional journals. Racial discrimination combined with economic factors made things especially difficult for Black CAs, which reduced the diversity of available qualified accountants in the last quarter of the 20th century. Pedagogy in South Africa. Cozy and Shimoni have described the effects of pedagogy on South African universities resulting from the adoption of IFRS. Universities still have the primary objective of preparing students for professional qualification. The change from rules-based accounting to principle-based accounting provided opportunities to change from rote learning of accounting rules. IFRS adoption in South Africa posed some difficulty to accounting education programs in terms of the translation into Afrikaans for purposes of supporting textbooks and study material. However, the adoption of IFRS has provided momentum to accounting education programs in embracing more conceptually based teaching of financial reporting, an approach to pedagogy that is acknowledged as ideally suited to preparing students for their careers in the fluidity of the modern financial reporting environment. Van Rooyen identified advances in social media in accounting teaching at the universities in South Africa. Many students, however, don't have access or cannot afford to use the internet regularly. But accounting lecturers have incorporated a number of social media applications into second-year module that are accessible via mobile phone. There's been reports of a positive correlation between formal education and forensic accounting development in Nigeria. The growth of forensic accounting practices is aided by the quality of formal education. And the integration of forensic accounting into the curriculum of Nigerian education system are significantly related to the rate of development in forensic accounting. Other authors have been more critical of Nigerian accounting education, citing low curriculum content and low motivation, poor cooperation between tertiary institutions, accounting practitioners, and employers, teaching philosophy not in line with modern developments, nepotism in recruitment of lecturers and admission of students. On the positive side, other researchers have found no significant difference between academic performances of male and female accounting students in undergraduate accounting courses. The reason why female performance tends to be compared favorably is that it may not be unconnected with the current awareness by women that a good education would give them access to job opportunities that will earn them respect among men. In Egypt, it's been noted that e-learning can offer innovative solutions to problems facing conventional education in Egypt, particularly in accounting courses. Easing overloading classes in Egyptian colleges, taking care of high prices of traditional textbooks, transportation problems, the need for continuing education and specialized training, interaction with the International Education Committee, and the enhancement of the level of national educations. Findings show an overall positive student attitude towards and satisfaction with the blended learning course. And acceptance for responsibility of their learning, but they need direct group support. Students generally prefer the blended learning environment rather than fully online learning, as they perceive that student-instructor as well as student-student interaction and collaboration are important issues in the quality assurance of learning. In Ghana, papers note the need for accounting for economic development in Ghana. To improve academic performance, students should be informed of the opportunities and prospects available to accounting professionals. Academic performance was positively correlated with volition. The student freely chooses to study accounting. Expectation, the accounting profession brings greater prestige, respect in society. The accounting profession helps one earning good remuneration. Studying accounting helps to easily find work, and pursuing accounting makes one more likely to succeed in life. Academic interest, the desire to study accounting, and learning attitude. The time and effort expanded in learning accounting. Conclusions. Adoption of IFRS across Africa will have a positive impact on African economies, making the results of both companies and other entities more comparable and more visible. Problems with adoption, such as infrastructure, qualified practitioners, and oversight, are in the course of being addressed and are rapidly being taken care of. However, institutes of higher education in Africa need to continue to develop in order to play a critical role in accounting education, as well as the development of accounting theories. I'm sorry I've had to rush through this. There's a lot involved, and you're welcome to read it in my paper. However, we have time, so I'd be happy to take some questions.